Is MJF's bidding war of 2024 completely bullshit? I got some major news on what may be with the contract of MJF to AEW. Also, Triple H taking a page out of Tony Khan's playbook. He's got more plans, returns up his sleeve, and WWE finally makes an official statement on the Elimination Chamber. Is it staying or is it going? All this plus so much more on Off the Script. Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is October 24th, 2022. I'm JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the beautiful OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Monday afternoons, wherever you may be. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up as well. I need 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. And make sure you guys go check out all the other content. I was very busy this weekend, man. I just got back from a vacation in Ireland, and I jumped right back into the fire. There is plenty of content. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go check all that stuff out on the homepage. And I will be live tonight after Monday Night Raw. Let's get into the news here, man. We're going to start off with what I talked about yesterday. There were rumors that WWE, and I hope that these rumors are true, that WWE may be getting rid of the gimmick pay-per-views. TLC, Extreme Rules, Money in the Bank, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. And I said, with all the rumors going around that gimmick pay-per-views may be going, if there is one that I would keep, because I think it is a very cool and pivotal part. It could be, if they book it correctly, which we all know Vince McMahon buried the fucking concept. If they take it seriously, it could be a very pivotal part of the road to WrestleMania, and that is the Elimination Chamber. I would keep that and use it to really differentiate the brand split between Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Then all of a sudden we wake up this morning and WWE has officially announced the date and location of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. WWE confirmed via Sports Illustrated this morning that Elimination Chamber will be held on February 18th, 2023 from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This marks the very first time that Montreal will be getting a premium live event since Breaking Point 2009, and the first special in Canada since SummerSlam in 2019. The event is headlined by the Elimination Chamber bout, which is usually featuring one chamber match for the women and another one for the men. I don't know how they're going to go about it this year, but maybe they do too this year in Montreal. The last Elimination Chamber event took place on February 19th in 2022. This year in Saudi Arabia. The show featured Brock Lesnar regaining the WWE title in an Elimination Chamber match. At the same event, Bianca Belair earned a women's championship match at WrestleMania by winning the women's Elimination Chamber match. So the pay-per-view schedule, the way we see it right now, from November all the way up until February. November 5th, Crown Jewel. And then November 26th in the same month, we got Survivor Series, which is being labeled War Games, from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Saturday, January 28th is the Royal Rumble from San Antonio, Texas in the Alamo Dome. February 18th, the Elimination Chamber in Montreal, Quebec, Canada at the Bell Center. And then Saturday, April 1st. And Sunday, April 2nd, WrestleMania 39 from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. So WWE is slowly but surely setting their pay-per-view schedule up the right way. Normally, they would use the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to kind of bang out one of the Saudi shows, and they did that this year. It's very interesting to see that WWE is not going back to doing the same thing. The Elimination Chamber is not taking place in Saudi. It's taking place in Montreal. So it makes me wonder where the first of the year, the first Saudi event of the year will be taking place. Normally, they do one around November, October, November. So I would assume that the next Saudi show is going to take place probably after WrestleMania, around May, maybe late May, early June. I'm not really sure what they are planning for that, but that's going to be a very interesting thing to see develop as they, I guess, get out all what they need to do as far as the pay-per-view schedule for the rest of 2023. I love this. I'm glad that they're bringing it back. I think the Elimination Chamber is going to be a very pivotal part of the road to WrestleMania, where one brand wins the Royal Rumble, the other brand needs to have a championship match as well. I mean, if they want to go that route, this is not a normal WrestleMania because I don't see Roman Reigns losing the championship. But on a normal year where there are two championships and there are two brands that are very separate from one another, the Elimination Chamber could be used to determine the other brand's championship on the road to WrestleMania. It's going to be very interesting to see how they set it up this year and what the Chamber is going to be used for. I don't know. There may be no men's match, seeing that Roman Reigns is holding both championships. There may be only a women's Elimination Chamber match. We don't know what Triple H has up his sleeve as far as the plans go, but I'm glad to see it back. And I do think out of all the gimmick pay-per-views, that this one still holds its weight as far as the brand split, separating Raw from SmackDown. Moving on, man. Triple H. Speaking of Triple H, he is taking the Tony Khan class of announcing surprise after surprise after surprise. Like Tony Khan does on AEW, Triple H has more surprises planned as far as returns to the company is concerned. While speaking with Steve Fall of NBC's 10 Count, Kofi Kingston was asked which former stars he wanted to see return to the company, which would have been Bray Wyatt, but he returned to the company at Extreme Rules. Although Kingston is not sure exactly who he would like to see come back off the top of his head because there are so many, he knows more surprises are on the way. He says this, and I quote, and he kind of opens up and lets the cat out of the bag just a little bit. Even people that haven't been here in WWE, I would love to see in a WWE ring. There is so much talent. I've said it before, but this is a real special time in wrestling. There's just so much talent out there. I'm sure, especially with Triple H at the helm right now, we are going to have a lot more surprises, and we are going to have a lot more moments of people coming back. We are really tickling the people's fancy and giving them what they want, and that is a great thing to be a part of. So he basically gave us information that we know already in regards to Triple H. There are a ton of talent still out there that Triple H is yet to bring back, most notably Sasha Banks and Naomi, because we don't know where they are going to end up, when they are going to end up back with WWE. And then obviously all the names that are still floating around out there that are working with an Impact that may have a deal up, that are working with a New Japan that may have a deal up. You know, Triple H is going to be very keen on the indies. You know, Triple H wants a mega Japanese superstar. I know Dave Meltzer talked about that not too long ago. I believe they were interested in Takeshita, who worked for AEW earlier this year. I know Triple H is going to keep an eye on some AEW notable free agents. Some of those free agents, possibly names that he worked with in the past with the Black and Gold. So you know there are going to be a constant influx of returns to the company. It's all a matter of when and how you re-debut them and repackage them and get them on WWE television. That's the most important part. You could bring back anybody you want, but unless it means something and it is impactful to the company, I don't think it's going to serve them well. It needs to be planned out. Maybe CM Punk. I don't know. I talked about that yesterday. You could go check that out on OTS 449. Maybe it's CM Punk coming back to the WWE. Who knows? But Triple H is definitely going to be bringing back more people, and more surprises are on the way to both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. We got news on MJF. MJF has been going on for many months about the biggest 2024 bidding war that will happen with him as the star. We got news on MJF, and people are talking about, will MJF go to WWE or will MJF stay with AEW? Wade Keller discussed the locker room in AEW, specifically some of the issues that have been reported over the last couple of months, including MJF and his contract status. Keller stated that things are pretty good backstage and not as bad as the headlines make it seem. Keller also talked about MJF, and he speculated that MJF has secretly signed an extension with the company and is not admitting to that because of what they have planned for him in the next year or so. So MJF, according to Wade Keller of the PW Torch, has signed a contract extension with AEW to pay him what he believes he's worth, to keep him there as the face of the company at 26 years old. By the time he is finished with AEW, he's not even going to be in his 30s yet. So that is incredible. MJF signed a new deal, according to Wade Keller, and they have something majorly planned to go along with this bidding war of 2024. Could we see something like the CM Punk storyline in the summer of Punk, when he cut that promo in Vegas? He goes into Money in the Bank in Chicago, wins the WWE title from John Cena. Everybody thinks he's a free agent, and then splits with the title. Are we going to get something similar with MJF playing the role of CM Punk in AEW, pretending his contract is up, and then him pretending he's going to take the AEW title to WWE in some valiant effort to try and squeeze more money and a bigger contract out of Tony Khan? It's going to be interesting to see what the story is and how it develops with MJF. But it also, and I'm not sure if you guys thought about this, it is very weird to me that MJF is on TV and Tony Khan would allow him to go on TV and mention Cody Rhodes, who works with WWE, Triple H, who leads WWE, mentioning Nick Khan, jolly old Saint Nick, and talking about how he loves everything WWE and the bidding war of 2024. It's going to be AEW versus WWE, and he's going to be the richest man in pro wrestling, and he's a generational talent, and he's mentioning a lot of WWE, a lot of WWE references. And I mentioned this not too long ago on my AEW podcast with Jesse. I find it very weird how Tony Khan would allow him to just willingly go out there and mention WWE. It's almost as if he's conditioning the fans to get ready for his arrival in WWE. Why would Tony Khan allow that? I know if I'm Tony Khan, I'm not allowing him to do it as excessive as he is. He's going on interviews, talking about it everywhere with Helwani and Sports Illustrated and Barstool Sports and all these other platforms. Why would Tony Khan allow him to do that? Because secretly MJF has signed a new deal. Secretly MJF is locked up to AEW, so they're not going to let you know that. They want you to think he's a free agent, but the fact that he's locked up, Tony Khan has given him the freedom to go out there and slow burn the story until we actually get to the story, which I think is great. And it would really prove to a lot of people listening to this and thinking about MJF, he's going to become a free agent. People are excited that MJF may jump to WWE, which I do think at some point in his career he will do, but not right now. He's going to be with AEW, and he's going to be with AEW, make a lot of money. He's going to be a multi-time AEW champion, and when he wins that championship, he ain't losing that shit for a very, very long time. He's got to get through Moxley first, which is going to be another interesting aspect as well. Is he going to beat Jon Moxley? Is he going to win the AEW World Championship? It's a little predictable, if you ask me. Or is AEW and Tony Khan going to swerve us, and all that happens at Full Gear with that championship match between MJF and Jon Moxley, is it going to play into this major storyline that Wade Keller says AEW has planned for MJF? So with him mentioning all these WWE names and all these WWE references, it kind of shows you that MJF definitely may have signed the new deal because he's been very liberated to go out there and say, very free to go out there and say anything about the other promotion. And I don't know if I'm Tony Khan, I'm allowing him to do that. So he must have signed a new deal, and Wade Keller believes that he did. Keller also stated that MJF is not someone to stir up trouble backstage, and he is someone who could become a locker room leader if he wanted the role. Keller said, and I quote, "The MJF thing isn't a big topic of conversation. He's back. My belief is that he signed an extension, even if he's telling everybody on and off camera he did not. I think he did. Unless someone has seen the contract, I think it's presumptuous and potentially faulty reporting to analyze for the MJF situation as if Tony Khan made a mistake by not signing him to an extension. It's in their interest to say he didn't sign because they have a storyline planned for a year from now where MJF is likely going to announce he's staying with AEW. I think he got paid big money and got the extension that he wanted, and then Tony put whatever issues he had with MJF and how MJF handled the situation aside, gave him what he wanted, and they both went from there. On how MJF handles himself out of the ring, Keller said, and obviously MJF is getting big pops, but he's someone who obviously Tony Khan trusts putting him out there in the media to do approved interviews. MJF is very articulate, a student of the game, and is someone who, when he's happy with his contract, is tight with Tony, and that they get along very well. So he's somebody who, because of his prominence right now, with the TV time he gets and how young he is and the crowd reactions that he's getting, he's got some things working for him that certainly can move him in the direction of representing the younger wrestlers in the locker room as a leader. But even with everything that went on with this summer and Double or Nothing, I think MJF is going to grow into a locker room leader regardless. I think he's going to be in AEW beyond 2023. My hunch is that he's done, or that it's a done deal at this point to keep him there for now. Keller went on about how MJF has a backstage reputation. He says, and I quote, "He really isn't a problem in the locker room like the Sammy Guevaras and Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa have been, for example. That's not him. He's actually less of a problem than the Bucks and Kenny. Kenny is more political than his reputation in terms of protecting his turf and not just being a laid-back kind of quirky guy. He's more political, and MJF is more ambitious, but it's not super political. And so that works to locker room stability as well, especially if I'm right in my speculation and my hunch and my belief that he signed a multi-year extension and just isn't saying so." So very interesting information coming out of Wade Keller and the PW Torch. I agree with Keller. I honestly think that MJF did sign an extension, and I think what we're hearing is just for our entertainment purposes, and he's trying to trick us along and fool us and have us think that he is going to WWE. But, I mean, I know I'm not the only one that said it. I know Jesse believes it as well on Wednesday, and everybody else in the community that does what I do believes it. If Tony Khan did not offer this guy a blank check to stay with AEW and give him whatever he wants, Tony Khan shouldn't even be running a wrestling business. Honestly, he shouldn't be in charge of the fucking roster that he's paying right now if he is allowing MJF to get to this point and not sit down with him and sign him to a multi-year contract extension and give that man whatever he wants. When he says a generational talent, he is a generational talent, and he means it. Everything that comes out of MJF's mouth is legit truth. You know, it is very difficult to find someone on the stratosphere or in the stratosphere of a Stone Cold Steve Austin, and a Rock, a Bret Hart, and guys like that. When all is said and done, MJF is going to be one of the biggest names that this industry has ever seen. He's doing it exceptionally well, better than anyone right now, and his career hasn't even gotten started. Imagine how he's going to be when he's 33, 34, 35 years old, and he's already at that level with that presence and that veteran status. It's going to be unbelievable. You're watching, with MJF, you're watching something that is absolutely a rarity in this business. So admire it, cherish it, because it doesn't come around all that often, and you're watching it right now with MJF. Guys, that's all I got for you on this extra for your Monday afternoon. Again, I'll be live tonight with Monday Night Raw, so make sure you guys tune into the post show there. And I'll be back all week covering all the latest news and rumors from AEW and WWE right here on Off the Script. Until then, guys, I'll see you tonight in the venue for Monday Night Raw and the post show on Off the Script. See you guys later.